Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, OCD. They're preoccupied with having everything in order, everything perfect, everything completely under their control.
Eating money in that order. Phil Jordan eating money. And I had to say it 3 times. Phil Jordan eating money, Phil Jordan eating money, Phil Jordan eating money. And then...
What is an obsession? So an obsession begins in your brain. It begins in your thought life.
My hands, I always thought they were dirty. I thought they were infected, so I'd wash them all the time, and I'd scrub them until they were bleeding.
3 times, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, you know, like...
Images, thoughts, impulses.
I pull over the side of the road. Like, I almost thought, did I hit somebody? I don't know why I have these images in my mind.
Really be considered to be crazy. And I don't know what I thought they would do with me, but they would just think I'm crazy.
These thoughts are intrusive and are inappropriate, and...
I get out of the car and look for critically injured people. Look for people that were by the side of the road, maybe bloody, and I get in my car and I can drive. It took me 5 hours.
The problem is the more they do the compulsive behavior, the worse the thoughts get.
Thoughts about being contaminated. Repeated doubts. How many times have you gotten down the road and you think, oh man, did I turn off the coffee pot?
The worst case scenario is with my parents, that they wouldn't even accept it. They would just think it was an excuse.
OCD, have an obsessive-compulsive disorder.
This disease affects millions of people from across the globe. But here's just one woman, and this is her story.
We're on our way to the interview right now. She wanted it to be anonymous, so we're doing it at night.
My name is Tessa. I'm 42 years old. I currently work as a waitress at a cafe. I've been married going on 10 years now, and I have OCD.
What's it like every day living with OCD?
Pure hell.
Can you tell us about it or give us some examples?
From the moment I wake up, from the time I go to bed, this affects me greatly, from something as simple as to making my coffee, as to getting dressed, as to leaving the house. It starts when I do make my coffee. I have to check my coffee grounds that are coming out of the container to put in the basket to make sure that there's nothing in the coffee grounds that came from the store. Then I have to fill up the pot with water several times and empty it out to make sure that there was nothing, no old coffee, no dirt, nothing in it, and then fill it up again to know that it's actual clean water that I'm putting in the pot to make the coffee. So a normal, I don't know, I'd say normal person usually probably takes them 30 seconds to make a pot of coffee. It generally takes me anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes to make a coffee after I fill it up over and over and check the coffee grounds. I hate to even get dressed because I have to go around the house first. I have to check all my doors. I have to make sure that they're shut, that they're locked, that nobody is going to be able to get in while I'm getting dressed. Nobody can see me from the outside, that the doors have to be shut. Nobody can see me getting dressed. As I'm getting dressed, I have to shake out all my clothing to make sure there's no other clothing stuck in them that might fall out while I'm in public, that there's no spiders or dirt or anything in my clothing before I can put them on. And after I'm finally dressed and I'm ready to leave for my day, the real anxiety sets in as I need to check the house for things to be turned off, the coffee pot, make sure that the stove's off, make sure that those sinks and the bathroom and the kitchen and everything is turned off.
Why do you need to check to make sure that the sinks are off?
I have a terrible fear that I'm going to come home some part of the house flooded that I never turned off the water, and that water was just going all day long. So I'll have to go into the bathroom, for example, and I'll have to stare at the sink, and I'll have to tell myself that the water faucet's off several times, and I have to do that with not only the sink, then the bathroom and the shower, as well as the sink in the kitchen. And as soon as I am comfortable with that, then I go to the stove, and I have to check all the knobs several times to make sure they're on the off setting, that the coffee pot's unplugged, and I'll check all those things several times. And then it goes to the doors being locked. As soon as I walk out the front door, I'll shut the door, I'll lock it, and then I'll feel like I let the dog out. So then I'll have to open the door, I'll have to make sure that my dog's still in the house, and I'll have to stand there kind of with the door cracked to make sure he's still there, and I'll have to stare at him and make sure he's still standing there. And then I'll shut my door, and I'll lock it again, and then I'll push on the door, and I'll turn the knob to make sure that it's locked. And I still don't feel like it's locked, so I'll have to open the door, go back in the house, shut the door, as if I've never even left yet, and I'll have to re-scan over everything in the house just to kind of make sure again that everything, it's almost kind of like starting all over.
When you do that, you literally start all of the checking over again.
Pretty much. Scan it all over again as if I'd never left. And then I go to leave, and I shut the door, and then it takes me another few minutes just to lock it. Anxiety is really set in because now I feel like neighbors are watching me, and that someone's going to call the police on me because I'm being weird, or so I will stand there and I will look around and I'll pretend like I'm locking my door over and over so it looks like I'm actually doing something, but really I'm just, pushing on the door and the knob and making sure that it's locked until finally my mind will allow me to leave. Getting in the car to actually drive to work is a whole new subject. I pretty much cannot go anywhere without feeling like I've hit something or someone. So sometimes I will have to circle the block of my where I live and to make sure that I haven't ran over anyone before I can actually leave fully and go onto the road to go to work. And then when I get to work, I'll have to sit there and tell myself that my car's in park. Car's in park. It's not going to roll away. And then I can go to work. And then it starts all over as soon as I leave to go home. Because it's a constant battle in my mind of if I hit someone, or I caused a wreck, or I ran a red light.
You feel that you do these things, do you think your mind would know if you hit someone or ran someone over, though?
I would think. But my mind tells me the worst. Oh, you've ran someone over. They're injured. You need to go back. So there's been plenty of times that I've drove all the way home and I just can't get over wherever I was, and I've got to go all the way back just to make sure that there's not ambulances there, that I've ran someone over, just to make sure things are safe. And so I've really started to not want to drive at all into public and to work, wherever I may be. I don't like to use the restroom out and about. I constantly feel like, oh, you're not in the restroom. You're in the middle of everyone, and you're actually using the restroom out in front of everyone.
You don't feel like you can't use the restroom in public, like a lot of people feel that way because of like germs or contamination. You feel like you can't use the restroom because you feel like you're urinating in the store instead of the stall?
Yes, I literally feel like I have went into the floor in the store. So if for whatever reason that I just absolutely have to go to the bathroom out in public or at work, I have to sit down on the toilet and I have to tell myself that I'll have to stare at the door and I'll have to say that the door's locked, the door's locked, the door's locked, and I'll have to tell myself that the door's locked in the bathroom no matter where I am. And once I feel comfortable that the door's locked, then I can sit down on the toilet, and then I have to tell myself, you're sitting on a toilet, and then I get up and I'll have to actually examine that I went in this toilet.
Like, you mean like stare at it?
And I have to tell myself, you peed in the toilet, pretty much over and over until my mind knows that I actually went inside of a bathroom instead of on a floor somewhere or what have you. And then I have to either with my foot or with some toilet paper take it to flush the toilet. Actually, I cannot do it myself with my bare hand. Before I exit the bathroom, I'll tell myself again, you're in the bathroom, here's the toilet, you flushed it, there's nothing, you didn't leave anything on it. And then I'll tell myself again, the door's locked. And then I'll stare at it some more, and then I'll unlock it. And this is just an ongoing battle with pretty much every aspect of my life, wherever I am. And it's pretty much manifested into every little thing that I do in my life nowadays. Whether it be cooking dinner for my family, I always feel like, I poured something crazy into the dinner, or, I didn't cook it all the way, or my mind will tell me that I didn't do these things, and so it's greatly affected my family life as well.
So, have you always been this way?
No, actually, when I got with my current husband, he actually had some OCD issues. He had a little bit of problems driving and germs on his hands and things like that. And then slowly I took some of those problems, and then mine manifested into a monster. And now my OCD issues are, but I've become 10 times worse, to the point to where I've called into work to not even have to go, not even have to deal with it because I can't get out of bed.
Like an actual mental breakdown?
A physical, mental breakdown to where I can't even cope with being around people, even dealing with myself. So I've been at work and have had to go to my own car and cry. I've had a literal mental breakdown.
So why did you want to be interviewed anonymously?
I've just been ashamed and embarrassed of my problem, and it's really just affected my life so much to where I'm not even the same person that I used to be, and I really just haven't wanted to tell anyone. I don't want close friends or family to know the way I really am.
So you hide how you are from people, from everyone, so to speak?
I try my best to put things aside in front of my family, even though it kills me to do so. I try really hard. So that in hopes that they won't know what you've become? Exactly. So the only person that really knows what's happened inside your mind over the years is your husband. Do you think that you'll ever get over this? I've often, and here lately a lot, wondered that in my own mind. How will I overcome this? Will I always be this way? Will I always be weird? Will I get worse? And I don't have those answers yet. I really don't know how I'm going to overcome this. Fear that it'll always be a part of you, or that it will get worse and more out of control? Yes. And I fear to pass it on to other people in my life. And I fear for them to know that I have it, and then it get worse because they know that I have it. And so I honestly don't know if it'll ever go away. Does this disease haunt you? Yes. Every aspect of my life.